Hi guys, so today I'm doing a large A3 canvas painting. I've decided to go with colours that I haven't actually used before, so I went with some oranges and yellows, something a little bit different. So I was really trying to make something a bit summery and a bit different. I've never worked with these colours before. I actually opened them fresh today. I had to peel off the wrapper and everything to make this work. I didn't actually blend any of the colours today. I just went with the colours in the tubes because in part I was feeling a bit lazy, and also I've never used them before, so I just wanted to see how they came out. Now, if you're thinking of painting a big canvas and you're a little bit unsure of actually just throwing the paint on, you could try it in a scrapbook first. I used to do that, especially if somebody's asked me for something specific. I tend to do it in a scrapbook and then ask them what they think of what has appeared in the scrapbook, of what I've created, and often I'll do 2 or 3 different ones to give them a few options. But in terms of when I'm just having a bit of fun, I just tend to throw the paint on the canvas and see what happens. Yeah, so at this point I was thinking I've got a little bit bright, just a little bit. So what I did was I actually put some yellows on and some beiges just to tone it down a little bit, although yellow is still quite a bright summery colour, so didn't tone it down that much. All I'm doing with my brush is literally smudging the paint down or across, just trying to make sure in one area I don't have complete down patterns or complete across patterns, to make sure that it looks quite well distributed, and in the end that will look the best. I don't tend to paint the edges as I go. Maybe if I had an easel, I may do that, and that is something I may invest in the future, but at the moment I tend to paint the edges afterwards. I also tend to like being able to look at the canvas and actually painting it for a second time. So this is something I will probably come back to tomorrow and revisit and decide if I'm actually happy with how it turned out or if it needs anything else, because often when you're actually painting you can't tell 100%. I think you can see at the end of this video I sit here and I'm like, is it done? Does it need more? Do you know what? I'll come back tomorrow and work that out, because right now I can't tell. So I felt like it needed a little bit more of something. I didn't want to go too dark, because often on canvases I like to add a little bit of black or a darker colour. It tends to be dark purples, dark reds, dark blues, but I've never used oranges before. So I went with this really nice kind of maroon red, I would say. It's got quite a nice purpley tone to it. The paint on this one is actually thicker than the other paints. So although that is quite nice, it can be a little bit of a pain because it doesn't blend as well as the other paints. So it's just something to be aware of. So if you are working with new paints, try them out before you actually throw them on the canvas. Maybe just give them a little play with beforehand. You can always use a mixing palette. I normally do use one of those, but today I was feeling a bit lazy and it does add to the cleanup. So just be aware that everything you get out you have to put away, which is why my painting box is such a mess, because at the end of this, the last thing I can be bothered to do is put everything away properly. So that is why my box is a mess and it does need cleaning out. Okay, so I think at this point I was just deciding, do I need more of anything? Oh, and I was positioning my iPad to see if I could get a good photo. But yeah, I was just thinking, do I need more of anything? Is there something I'm missing? And I thought maybe let me try a few different techniques, you know, because that's the thing. When you're painting, you kind of, different ideas come to you and you're like, maybe I could just try doing this and see how it goes. Never be afraid to do that, you know, never be afraid to actually just go, I wonder what this will look like, throw it on the canvas and see. So I decided to go with a smaller brush and see if I could brush some of it out in smaller strokes and creating a bit of a different effect. But as you will see, I reverted back to my normal brush because I decided it just didn't quite look right with what I was achieving, and I'm not sure why I thought it would, because to be quite honest with you, it's something that never really goes right when you use 2 different brush strokes, but hey ho, giving it a crack. So at this point I've kind of got no white left on the canvas, which is the ideal situation, because on this painting I wanted to make sure the whole canvas was covered. There are times when I will leave little bits blank, but today I wanted to cover the whole thing. And again, I thought maybe let me put some lines in make it a little bit different, a little bit interesting, but quickly decided that wasn't the right call and reverted back to my big brush again, I'm pretty sure. Another thing to think about if you smudge some paint, if something's in the wrong place, don't be afraid to get your finger involved and just move it out of the way, tap it in a little bit, just do whatever feels best, because to be honest, it always turns out better when you don't overthink things. So yeah, I think I realised there was too many strokes in one direction at that point, so that's why I kind of did the top a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm about happy with that, so thanks for watching everybody.